Oh, hi there. Welcome to Christmas month, everyone. Man, this is one of my favorite times of the year because I freaking love Christmas. Alright, so to start out this month, I'm going to review one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. I'm going to review The Santa Claus, the one with Tim Allen, and it's an all-time classic, and I'm so glad I get to review it. Let's get right into it. Okay, so a little disclaimer while I'm going over the story. Keep in mind, a lot of the stuff in this movie passed for PG back then, because there's a few jokes that it's just like, I didn't catch as a kid. I'm just like, well, what does that mean? When Scott Calvin says, oh, it's okay, I lived through the 60s. And that's, well, our families aren't here. Which is why Johnson's secretary is probably sitting in his lap. It completely forgets that this is a kid's movie. And there's already a drug reference and an infidelity joke. The 90s were a special time. Anyway. So the story goes, Scott Calvin becomes the brand new Santa Claus. Which, he's the most unlikely Santa Claus there is, but I'll get into that in the characters. He's such an asshole at first. And he brings his son Charlie along for the ride. And Charlie is easily the best character in the movie. And then the next morning onward until the next year, he's in complete denial about being Santa Claus. Even though there's a lot of clear signs that he is Santa Claus, it's led to some of the best jokes in the movie. Not just the best jokes in the movie, the best jokes in any Christmas movie besides How the Grinch Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey. From like reindeer following him when he's in the park with Charlie, to little boys and girls lining up to sit on his lap and say, this is what I want for Christmas, during Charlie's soccer game. Okay, if that moment was filmed today, it would not age very well. In fact, it hasn't aged very well. Which leads to another thing. The visual effects, special effects, and CGI are absolute shit in this movie. But it came out in the 90s, so I'm going to give it a little leeway. And then at the end, Scott Calvin becomes the best Santa Claus. And how awesome is this movie? When he accepts that he's Santa Claus, and he goes on to his first Christmas with the whole getup, big belly, big beard, and all that. There's a montage of them getting ready to a ZZ Top song. Think about that. A ZZ Top Santa. It's pretty awesome. So yeah, I freaking love this movie because it's hilarious, heartwarming, and this is definitely one of the best Christmas movies ever made. Like I said before, Scott Calvin at first is the biggest asshole Santa. The most unlikely Santa. He literally tells a little girl that he's close to taking the Christmas presents away if she doesn't go to sleep. I'm like, well, who spit in your eggnog this morning, asshole? Okay, even Bernard, the elf, is just like, oh my god, I've had it with you. Just, if you would actually just let me talk and let me explain. For the love of Christmas, will you shut up? Seriously. I will shank you, bitch. Yeah, I'm so glad he comes around. But once he accepts that he's Santa Claus and Santa Claus exists and all that, He becomes the best Santa Claus ever, basically. They even say that in the sequel. And Charlie, like I said before, Charlie's the best character because he can be an annoying little shit and absolutely adorable. Like I'm I'm surprised that after the original Santa Claus falls off the roof before Scott Calvin takes over as Santa Claus, I'm surprised Charlie doesn't say this. I'm calling 911 on you. You killed Santa. Yeah. He can be annoying and adorable at the same time. Like, how is that even possible? When Charlie repeats something that Neil says, because Neil is a psychiatrist, hearing psychology terms from a 5-year-old is absolutely hilarious. Like when he says, Neil thinks that you're just gonna lash out irrationally. And just with as many problems as Scott has, I honestly half expected Charlie to say, Neil also says you can't get a hard-on. What does that mean? Mainly because Neil is an absolute jackass. He's stubborn, and he sometimes forgets that Charlie's a kid. And Charlie's mom is no different. Because, like, God forbid, their 5-year-old son, a 5-year-old has imagination and plays in his room and pretends he's Santa Claus. Him and Scott don't get along very well in the beginning. In fact, he literally tells his mom, please pick me up early tomorrow. Do I really have to stay? Please, I don't want to have to stay. To saying to Scott, hey, can I drive the sleigh next year? Sure, Neil and Laura come around in the end, and yeah, they are basically the villains, and it's such a cliche setup, which I'll get into in a second. Scott, I love how he's trying to explain that he's not Santa Claus, even though it's clear that he's in denial. Even when he sees himself in the mirror with a beard, big belly, and his hair turning white. Hell, if I was in his situation, this is how I would react instead of saying, nah, something's wrong with the mirror. Oh, holy shit, I'm an old man. Yeah, I'll be like, what the hell happened to me? Please let this be a dream, please. He's just like, something's wrong with this, something's wrong with that. I'm like, but other people are pointing out how fat he is. And then once he does, accept that he's Santa Claus, and then when he gets arrested, I love how he's just like, when they're interrogating him, they're asking him, state your name. He's like, Kris Kringle. State your name. Santa Claus. He's an absolute troll at the end. It's honestly hilarious. And I really love those elves that come to help him, and they immediately bring you back into the reality of, oh, this is a kid's movie. But honestly, these elves have so much swag, they might as well be an elf rap group. They call us EWA, for elves with attitude. I'm just saying. What I didn't like was obviously Scott being an asshole at first. The fact that there's like no logic in this movie, which is a kid's movie, so obviously, you know. And also, just the elves don't even wonder where the other Santa Claus went. Like, there's literally an entire episode dedicated to that plot hole in the Disney Plus show, The Santa Clauses. I think is what it's called. And the biggest complaint I have about this movie is Laura, Neil, and everyone else, when Scott's trying to explain, hey, I'm not telling Charlie I'm Santa Claus, I'm not telling him that, I'm not changing my appearance for him, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, nobody listens. Sure, it's led to some of the funniest moments in the movie, but still, after a while, it gets kind of annoying. But overall, it doesn't take away from how much I love this movie. This movie is amazing, and just God bless Tim Allen. Tim Allen was the best choice for this role, and I can't imagine this role going to anyone else. Well, I hope you all enjoyed the review. Yeah, sorry if the humor was a little off, and I'm sorry if I've seemed like I'm just tired. I am, because I'm still recovering from the trip from Texas. Because, like, you know, I had such a great time, and now I'm back, and it's just, But I managed to have fun with this review, so I hope you all enjoyed it. Until next time, stay positive and stay awesome, everyone. See ya.